Okay, so this is the fourth video. This is me sharing some memories, and the first two videos, the first three videos were all about the N-word. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, I think these are really good things to learn from, and I'm certain these, God has healed me and given me complete forgiveness. I fully forgive every person who's done these things to me in the past, and also forgiven myself for the way I handled them or maybe mishandled them. And hey, God is the one that's made me whole and complete. And I desire to see each and every one of these individuals know that they're not only forgiven, but God can do the same for them and desires to do the same for them. I want to see everybody just live a life of love and peace and in charity. And but also, that spirit of racism is out there. It's very alive and active, and but it lays dormant. It lays inactive. And so I've noted that a lot of individuals, they they're shocked when they hear about stories of racism, and and I feel it's for everybody who's been exposed to racism, oh goodness, it's so impactful. It can be so impactful. It can be very traumatizing, and it can have such a long residual effect to it. And I just find if it's talked about and brought out into the open, it's the exposure of something that can lay dormant in the heart of man or woman. And once it's brought up, and once it's brought out, we can see it for what it really is. And I find too, with that word, now if somebody called me that word, I just understand that they're just using a word that they learned, and they're trying to hurt me. And but they're trying to hurt me not because they feel whole and complete inside, and not because they feel loved. There's deeper issues, and so I have a deeper level of understanding, and I've received God's love and God's mercy, and that's what I want to extend to others. And so I no longer take it personally, and so I find talking about these things can be quite beneficial. So we'll continue on with the last video. The young man that grabbed me by my throat when I went to the first party out at a farmer's house, out in a trailer. So I mentioned in the last video, he tormented me after that. Every time I'd see him in the hallways, it was instantly he would always look. I was I was now aware of him. I always knew who he was because his reputation preceded him, but I didn't really know him. So if I brushed by him in the hallway, I would know who he is generally, but wouldn't really pay attention. Now every time I went by him, every time he was even on the other side of the hallway, his eyes would instantly go to me, and he'd call me the N-word, or he'd make threats. So I felt very not only intimidated, but harassed and attacked. And so he had a group of friends with him, and they're all kind of loud and boisterous and this and that. And his one friend, it seemed like his one friend was older than him. I think he was held back a couple grades, and he was considerably bigger than everybody else. And by that I mean, oh goodness, in high school, if you take a grade 10 and then a grade 11, that 1 year of physical development can make quite the difference in terms of strength and in terms of size, especially when you have these late bloomers, so these young kids that hit a growth spurt later on. And so this guy would he seemed like he was more like a man, even in high school, and he was probably about like 180 pounds or 190 pounds, and maybe about 6 foot or 6'1", which is pretty big for high school. And in high school, I didn't hit my growth spurt until I think grade 12 or the end of grade 11. And so I was about 5'7", 5'8", and about 120, 115 pounds. I was a really tiny guy. And so anyway, you know, somebody who's 180, 190 pounds is like a really big person to me. And so this is a few years later. I would have been, I think, 19 at this time. I was working at a gas station here in town, and it was open 24/7, and it was full serve. And so anyways, we had just like the area where you could come in. They had, you know, your impulse purchases, your chips, chocolate bars, gum, all that fun stuff. But there's a bathroom, and then the till was right like at the end of in this little like store area. And so anyway, so people would come in, and like, so after the bars on Fridays and Saturday nights, it was this gas station was right on the main road. So people that were walking home from the bars would often come in, and people would just always come in and ask to use the bathroom. And you know, it was just normal, although the bathroom was actually for staff. So I was working there the one night. It was either a Friday or a Saturday night, and this young man, so it wasn't the guy that grabbed me by my throat. It was his one of his friends, or one of the guys in his group of friends. And this was a guy who was bigger than everybody else. At least in high school, he seemed quite a bit bigger. And he was just a very, for lack of a better word, I just want to say spasmental. Like, he was very, very spazzy. Like, he seemed to lash out a lot, quite a bit. And I remember I was behind the till. There's a group of folks coming through and passing through, and oh goodness, I could tell a lot of stories from those days, and a lot of really cruel behavior. But anyways, I remember this young man. He came in. So if I'm 19, he's probably a minimal of 3 years older than me. Could be 4 years older. So he'd be in his early 20s, you know, 22, 23. And I remember he came in, and he was with a girl who was 1 grade older than me. And such a beautiful young woman. I always had like such a crush. I think a lot of guys had a big crush on her. She's just a very beautiful young woman, but she's also very studious, and she's just really like a really kind-hearted girl, and very friendly, and all these wonderful things. And so he came in with her, and then she knows who I am, so she said my name, and she's like, "Do you mind if I use your bathroom?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I think we might have had like a key that they needed. And anyways, but he was with her, and I remember the hate behind his eyes when she asked me that. And then he said, don't you ever ask an N-word for anything. You don't ask him for nothing. And it was just this really dominating and domineering voice, but the hate behind his eyes, it was like if he was able to murder me and to get away with murder, like it was like the hate was that pronounced. Like he would just kill me, murder me in cold blood, and then just walk away like he just did God's will on this earth. So much hate. The humiliation that I felt from those words and from that attack was actually like, it was so pronounced because it was done, the words he said were done in front of a female. It was like he was dominating me and trying to emasculate me in front of a female. And oh goodness, so humiliating. And I never knew how to react in situations like that, and or respond. And I think I just gave her the key, and I think he just stared me down. And but yeah, that is, goodness, that's another time the N-word has been used. And oh goodness, it's very, very hurtful. But it's the hate behind his eyes. This is a guy I actually didn't even know, like on a personal level. I don't think we'd ever even talked before that. He definitely was there though. That in the was it the third story that I shared, where his friend grabbed me by the throat when I went into the party, or that first party. He definitely was there that day. And yeah,